Just pulled it out the fridge. Okay, so first and foremost, how are you? How was your day? How you
To-
feeling?
Today was really good. I pulled a positive affirmation card for myself. I am safe came out, and another one was pretty much just talking about being flexible and flowing. So that was all in alignment. When I first woke up, I don't know if you messaged me right directly, but I pretty much woke up listening to your Reiki one first. And I went to the bathroom. I just initially started crying, like just tears within the first 5 minutes, girl, because like just the whole feeling safe thing, like it's just so important, because it's like that's something I really want. I want to feel safe, I want to feel grounded. And I just feel
Right.
like when you were telling me these things, it's the same thing like Spirit's been telling me, but it's always dope to hear it from, something external as
Right. That
well.
confirmation.
Yes, because it's just like when you're just hearing it internally, even though you know it's like spirit, it's just like you still can kind of doubt that energy, I guess. So it
Certain.
was just, yeah, so it was just, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole like overview of the Reiki session. Um, I, made sure to like do some deep breaths and stuff like that. That was really, really exciting. And I agreed with a lot of the things that came up, honestly, because it's like one end, I literally feel like I'm being pulled in two different directions. That's literally
Yeah.
what I be telling people. So it's like sometimes I am just like, war zone. And even in listening to that, like feeding to the inner victim, like, what the fuck? Like, like, why is this happening to me? Like, why? And then either 30 minutes or even the next day, completely feeling good, feeling
Right.
motivated. Like, I'm a boss shit. Like,
Right. Right.
so, yeah. Today I was feeling like a boss. Sorry, like today I was feeling real good. Just even crying in the beginning, so like it all it helped me. I'm in like a middle of a transition stage with moving to a new place as well. So I just feel really good. I wore one of my dresses that my granny gave me before she passed away. I was like, I
Yes.
just want to embrace your energy today, and I went
Yeah.
outside, and yeah, I feel good today. I'm kind of sleepy now. Like after this, I'm probably gonna take a nap. Like I feel
Right.
like I didn't just use all my energy, but yeah.
That's how them high energy days be. At the end, it be like, whew, I don't even know what I did, but I'm tired.
Right.
I love that.
Literally.
Okay. And I was so excited to send it to you. I was like, I can't wait till she gets these. I felt like they was gonna resonate, and I'm glad that they did because I was just like, if I was her, I would want to hear this too. And
Yeah.
you know how spirit will send you clients pretty much just like you. So
Hmm.
everything I was like, yes, I feel this. So I know she's gonna feel this. I'm so glad. I'm so
I
glad.
will say for the reading, I stopped at like 30 minutes because I just felt so motivated. I was like, okay, it's time to go. Like once I feel like that motivated type of energy, I like to just start like
Yeah.
put in action. I can say that for sure. So I'm gonna watch the last 30 minutes later, but
Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
Good. And that's pretty much what what your sacral chakra said. Like when you feel ready to move, moving
Hmm.
whatever you incline to do. So ain't nothing you don't already know. Okay, good, good. So based on what you said, um, with this breakthrough session, I've got your would you put in your booking form here? Just open to what you need to hear, encouragement for your financial stability the most, courage to embrace purpose, and also trusting when to attract and when to do. So I want to kind of ask you for this session. I'm asking in a couple ways, like why are we here? What are you looking to get out of it? And kind of what do you feel like might be the problem?
Um, I feel like it's fear and doubt, honestly. And
Mm,
I feel like since that is the thing, I just have to have the courage, and maybe like just needing like reminders. I can say yesterday I could not sleep at all. Like I went to sleep at like 7:30 a.m. literally.
Okay.
And that's why I ended up like responding to you at like 10 o'clock or something like that because I legit just woke up. But when I'm like stuck in that energy, it's just like so many thoughts in my head. I just try to direct it towards something.
Mhm.
So I've been using ChatGPT to kind of like help me with certain questions when it comes to like how to create sustainable income with my business, like my tarot business and stuff like that. And they were helping me craft some things. I know for myself, it's more or less just belief. Like the strategies are out there. It's
Right.
more or less like execution. Like the strategies are out there on what to do, but it's just like do I believe it's possible for me to actually create sustainable income? Am I going to be able to execute these things? Why don't I have a website yet? Like, and I could say one of my biggest blockages is the membership thing. Because that's something that a lot of people like encourage you to build. And I'm just like, for me, I feel like my doubt comes from being able to uphold it. Because I burn out a lot. And
Gotcha.
like I don't like which I had saw this post yesterday and she was just like I've learned that just because you take a break doesn't mean you're quitting, type of thing. So like maybe I need to try to figure something out. But I just want to be able to uphold something without burning out. Like, yeah.
Okay. Hmm. So I got some questions to ask on that to follow up, but before we go there, I want to say, so what is the vision? Like, what's the ideal bigger picture that you're trying to get to? What are you in fear and in doubt of?
Hmm. I guess I guess actually being able to do it. Like maybe I'm afraid of putting myself out there and people like I guess maybe looking crazy like oh she really tried to like build a six-figure build business or like she's really like thinking she can do this type of thing like maybe I'm afraid of failing,
Mm-hmm.
like and yeah like not getting to the results that I want or whatever like.
Right.
But I do feel like now more than ever, like Spirit's just really pushing me to. They're like, like they're showing me that it's possible, but it's like also it's like if you don't put yourself out there and just be courageous, like you might end up just like homeless type, like right now I kind of like have no other choice but to just like start strategizing, start collaborating with people and start putting myself out there because that's the only source of income that I 100% know how to like monetize, if that makes sense.
Right. It does.
Hmm. Hmm.
So would you say your vision, your bigger picture being making your tarot and spiritual business your sustainable foundational income and growing and scaling that to the six-figure business and all?
Yeah, I feel like I most definitely want it as the avenue and the first thing because I do see myself venturing out into other things. Like fashion ultimately is my bigger passion, but that right there would be like a page of pentacles, if that makes sense. So that would be like me like learning how to get into that energy. As far as tarot, that's kind of something that's already like established. Like I have
Mhm.
clientele established and it's something that I can feel confident in, so that's most definitely like, the a first stage that I want to embrace, building that stable foundation, things related to tarot, maybe even expanding that when it comes to like maybe selling like Palo Santos or like certain
Right.
merchandise with shirts with different sayings. And I most definitely want to make my own tarot deck, well, Oracle deck, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
executing ideas because I have so many creations and stuff. But yeah, yeah,
Yep, that's what your Reiki session had told me, and your reading. It said she need a all your creations. It said literally said everything you seeking is on the other side of your creation, and so keep moving with those creative inspirations. Finish projects, start new ones, and just keep putting the energy into that because it's gonna give you something back. And you just see where that energy builds up with those different creations. See what feels the best. See what starts to generate that flow. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I had already said. That's so funny. Okay. So going kind of into the next piece, we already talked a little bit about where some of the limiting beliefs and blockages are. And we said fear, doubt, can I really do it? Fear of thoughts of others, fear of failing and not getting to where you want to be. Are there any other blockages or self-sabotaging habits or anything else you feel might be holding you back? Emotions, whatever.
Um, Let me think about this. I feel like as far as like self-sabotage is more or less it just goes back into like the belief because it's
Yeah,
like okay I've never made that amount of money or I've never you know was like a like it was like making like sustainable income for myself type of thing so I'm like literally trying to become a version of myself that I never
right.
been.
Mhm.
So, there could be self-sabotage in an instance. Because it's like when I think about when I first started, like most people, which maybe I don't know if it's a most people thing, but the way I think about how people are, especially if they're really money motivated, like it's like, girl, you made $100 in an hour, like from these 5 to 4 readings, like some people like they'll get excited and they want to do more, like and book more readings and da 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 da. But that's not how it's been. Like there's legit something stopping me because it's like I've already like I've gotten clients before. I've like helped people from different parts of the country. Like I've helped over hundreds of people and stuff like that. So I'm just like I'm reaching these milestones, but there's still like this lack of belief or this doubt or just something that's just like I guess stopping me from that breakthrough of like actually just,
What would you say would make you believe? Seeing it,
it's hard
being
to,
it.
maybe consistently, like for me, maybe like and I say that, but I don't know, like, because I'm saying like maybe consistently seeing people like interacting with my content,
Hmm.
that might help me feel a little bit more like I guess obligated,
Yeah.
like or more committed, because especially in the beginning, which I do feel like it's for a reason because it's showing me that okay, long term, this isn't going to be sustainable for me. But when I first started, like I would post every single day, like multiple times a day, different stuff related to tarot. And I was kind of just running off of passion. Like I was just so excited. I'm just starting this path and stuff like that. But as I didn't see like the growth that I thought I was going to see, it most definitely caused for me to start like slowing down and just started like I guess that's where the doubt started creeping in. Because at first I was just kind of like ignorance on fire. I guess like I just like this. I just wanted to put stuff out there. But yeah, like not seeing a growth like I thought. And maybe it was a comparison thing too. Like seeing like other readers and stuff like that. It just made me, I guess, probably brought more doubt in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I've always grew. It just wasn't I was always growing. It just wasn't like where I thought I would be type, if that makes sense.
Right. Right.
So I stopped it all together.
I understand. Um, so let me ask you this. I know the doubt has creeped in and all of that. Outside of doubt, like if all of that didn't exist, would you say you're still passionate about doing the tarot business? Like if you were seeing the consistent results, would you still have that passion, or do you think it's something that, like you said, might not be sustainable? long term you want to move into a different direction?
I feel like I like doing tarot readings, but I wouldn't want to do it as like that's my only thing because it takes so much energy.
Yeah.
Like for me, it would be like one of those exclusive things. It's a high ticket item. As far as like, I'm okay to like that's the end goal vision. I'm okay with using it right now for like a stream
Hmm.
of income just to build clientele and stuff. But in goal, my readings will be at this high ticket price because it takes a lot of energy and I don't know how to like some people are able to like do like a one card thing and it's like boom bam. I don't know how to do that. Like I have to get the whole message out there.
Yeah.
Like I've tried, I don't know how like and so it's just like it takes up all of my energy and I mean I love the process of being able to like connect with people and be used as a vessel and stuff like that, but it's so draining. And so I don't feel like it is sustainable long term. I still want to do it because it's a gift. I want to be able to use my gift, but I don't want it to be like that main source. Like I would rather teach people tarot, or have oracle cards, or still like help them with their breakthrough. Like for me, I'm more or less like someone who likes to help people bring their vision down into the physical.
Hmm.
So as far as like what I do, just I haven't like monetized it as a business at all, but I see this is what I do naturally. Like a lot of people ask me to be a part of something that they're doing to help them bring it down into the physical, whether that is helping them create a music video or helping them to create a brand name for their business or helping them to be a part of their business or even giving them ideas of marketing and stuff like that. So when it comes to bringing people's purpose or their dreams or whatever down into the physical, like that's something I'm passionate about, like that I
Hmm.
can just do with ease. And it kind of feeds me because like I'm actually a part of the process with them and we're kind of interacting with each other. It's not just they're feeding off of my energy and receiving things from me, if
Right.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Certainly.
Hmm.
Ooh, child. I can relate.
Yeah.
I can relate. And obviously, it's for a reason why the two of us are here having this conversation. Ooh, child. I kind of want to go a couple directions with this. So I'm looking at my notes over here. Ooh, this is good. This is good. So, with you saying, okay, part of it I want to say about, and I don't know if you got to this part of the reading or not. You might not have, because I think maybe it was toward the end. Um, but part of what it said was using your voice to like tell stories or share information. So for you, and I think I put in there consider ebooks or courses. So for you to say teaching tarot, that would be a major thing. Of course, people always say product-based business. We're a consumer society, so that
Hmm.
oracle card deck that you would create would definitely help to be a stream of income for you. And the other part about helping people with breakthroughs or bringing their vision to the physical, what I wrote down is consulting. I don't want to just narrow it to spiritual consulting or business
Right.
consulting
Right.
because that would be for you to kind of explore and see, and maybe we
Hmm.
can do that a little bit more while we're here. But with as a consultant, you kind of make your own way. You decide this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm offering, this is what my prices are. And
Hmm.
I'm saying that speaking from experience because yes, I'm building this holistic wellness business, but my main thing right now I'm doing is business consulting. I have a couple
Hmm.
of main clients and I'm working on expanding my services and reevaluating my vision of what I want to offer and how I want to offer it. But
Hmm.
for one, giving you that time, space, and freedom to decide this is what I do. And then you can, of course, observe like, what am I helping people to bring to fruition? So that could look you can set that up in a couple, many a different ways. I'm a strategy consultant. I'm a creative consultant, whatever it is, and work with people on those different projects, or be a thought partner, quote unquote, in different projects. Because like you said, this is what you're doing naturally. That's why I started the businesses that I'm doing, because this is just what I do naturally. And Spirit is leading us to be who we are and do what we do naturally. We shouldn't have to be trying to fit into these other boxes and other modes that were made not for us. So I think that's definitely something to explore. Just, as you would just have a store. What would I want to offer? What skills do I have? What expertise do I have? And then when people throw around that expertise words, that kind of brings fear, that brings doubt, that brings imposter syndrome. Matter of fact, I'm gonna erase that word because I don't even like to use it, because it brings that. Certainly, if you feel like an expert in things, sure, but there's always more to know. There's always more to learn.
Yeah.
But you definitely have something more than somebody else has. You have, it may be something that they're not willing to learn, that they wouldn't understand. But you would be able to bring, like you said, bring it to fruition, ground it into physical, tangible things for them. So I think that would definitely be a major avenue to explore, because even as and when you want to move into fashion, it's that too. I'm a fashion consultant. You have your own unique style that people adore. I'm one of them. So, be like, okay, well, what's your vibe? And help people to put that vibe together. It's a lot of different avenues you can do in consulting.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. So I wanna let me look around and see kind of where we want to, because we might actually just move into teasing that out a bit. Let me see. Oh, let me look at time too. I want to make sure we be diligent. Yeah, let's tease that out a bit. Like, what would business consulting look like for you? And I say business consulting. I'm gonna say consulting. What could that look like for you?
Right.
Be your option.
I mean, I can say the one that I'm just like, because I wrote, thought partner. I wrote creative consulting. I wrote, what skills and knowledge do I offer, as far as like wanting to ponder more. But the one that brings the most excitement is the fashion consulting. Like, what's your vibe? Like, I just feel like, as far as like when I'm thinking about, since I was a child, like the one thing I was always interested in was fashion. Like we didn't have a lot of money. Like I actually have a story behind that naturally. Like we didn't have a lot of money. My parents weren't able to like buy me clothes that could fit. I would always get hand-me-downs, usually from male cousins and stuff. So I would always have to like try to make it look into something cute, type of thing. Like, and then also like I didn't have like the best self-esteem when it came to my physical appearance, but I knew I could dress. So I was just like, "Bitch, you gonna put that shit on?" Yeah. So I know ultimately that is what I would like to do. And like I said, like I do feel like my spiritual gifts are there. Um but I feel like maybe it was to help me be able to navigate through the actual avenues, that I want to create, and the spiritual gifts will always be there for people who want to, if they want to connect with me in that aspect. I feel like I'll be open, accessible, for that. But if I'm being honest, it's not really something I want to fully.
I hear that.
Yeah. Just
It's
because
like,
of the
I feel
energy
like
of it.
you want to do it, like you said, because I'm already kind of got clients. I'm already kind of generating some income. So I know I can do it. But that's kind of like, being in a job you don't want to be at. Like, I know I can do this, but it's something else I would rather be doing. Now, granted, it's a business that you started, it's spiritual gifts. Yeah, certainly. But, things change. Our energy changes. And that was just a step, like you said, it was to help you navigate through some of these creative avenues. It's just a step. And it can evolve in its own way. But as a spirit, as a person, you also have to evolve and keep evolving into your highest frequency, into whatever it is that you want to do and what you know you're here to do.
Yeah. That's so scary to even think about, like transitioning into something new, I guess, in that aspect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, new things be scary sometimes,
Mhm.
but I think this is good. I think we're heading somewhere good
And
because,
that's
and
what I
I'm
was trying to. Oh yeah, remember.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because I was like thinking, because like I'm so versatile. That's why I was just like, if I was to do it all, like in a way, like how could I? Like that's why I was like even thinking about, do I need to keep my name Taste of Divinity? Do I need to cultivate it into something else, like an umbrella, or do I need to create like a second name just for the fashion part, or do I just brand Tasty? And I am Tasty, and just brand her name for different stuff as well. Like,
I will speak a little bit to that because I've gone through the same thing. So when I first started my first business, it was Tracy Max Freelance Company, and it was administrative and creative solutions. So I had things under there like modeling and sewing crafts and all of those things. I had like personal assistant contracts and this, that, and the third. And for me, it's like, well, I'm starting a business. I can do what I want with it. I have so many interests and skills and talents. So I'm just gonna make it a freelance company and that's what it's gonna be. Now at the time I was in some kind of business coaching. It was a spiritual business coaching group, matter of fact. But she was like, basically that's cute and all, but you need to separate it. Like you need to blah blah blah. And at the time I didn't understand it. I wasn't hearing it. Like,
hmm
but at the same time, I knew that at some point I wanted to be able to do some consulting for startup businesses, helping people to start businesses. I knew that I wanted my company to kind of be a parent company of
hmm
whether it's more businesses I create or, the people I help create their businesses. I knew that's what I
yeah,
wanted to do. That was like, let's say 2018, 2019.
hmm
Fast forward, okay, maybe a couple months later or the next year, I didn't want to do no personal assistant contracts. Tried that, didn't like it. No,
hmm
I'm like, no, I'm more than somebody's assistant. I got it. No, that's not enough for me. Um, and then so I did kind of start to separate it, and I'll say fast forward to where I'm at now. I've got Tracy Max LLC, which is now being transitioned into my parent company literally within the last month.
hmm
Um, so with that LLC, I have a DBA doing business as Max's House, which is my spiritual holistic business. I
hmm
also have doing business as newly named Divine Consult, which is my consulting business. Now I've been
hmm
consulting through Trades of Max LLC this whole time, but now I'm like, okay, it's growing, it's evolving. And so
Yeah, that's kind
to
of
your
cool.
point, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
brand my and then I also have Max the Divine, which is my
hmm
creator, my artist. So
Yeah.
it's like, what do I brand? Do I make it one? Do I make it? And
Multiple.
that's
Yeah.
definitely something to explore.
So when you say like doing business as, is that something you have to like do, I guess, like contractual wise as well, like with an LLC, or it's just underneath it type?
It's underneath it. There is, well, and I can't speak for Texas, but I'm sure it's a
hmm
form that you have to file. Like in Arkansas, I have
hmm
my LLC and that costs whatever amount. But then you go and you file it's like, I think it was an application for a fictitious name. And it
hmm
says doing business as
Okay.
Divine Consult. But
hmm
tax wise, everything, it still follows under that LLC umbrella.
Yeah.
But you need to
Okay.
doing business as to create
hmm
whatever businesses you want.
Yeah, with the DBA. Okay. Yeah.
So when you think about, making your six-figure business and all of this, who you're to become as an entrepreneur, kind of think bigger in your CEO mindset. And that's something that I'm
hmm
going through too. Like,
hmm
I think it's just a time. Spirit is like, hey, kind of expand your mindset. You're more than this. You're infinite.
hmm
You can
hmm
be bigger. You can do all that you want to do. But of course, we have to learn the practical side of it here in the
Yes.
Earth School. So
Right.
I think, if you take some time and just the way that I would do it, I would just literally do like a free flow of thought and just brainstorm what all do I like to do? What am I skilled at doing? What would I absolutely not want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even a category where you're just like things I could do, because the things I could do tend to try to creep in, and they ain't necessarily stuff that you want to do, but you might entertain it like, oh, I want to do this, and then you later find out
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that wasn't it.
Mm,
Like
I like
personal
that.
assistant contracts, like no.
Yeah.
It was something I could do because I was doing it, but once I decided, I was like, oh no, that's not for
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
me.
I like that. I like that.
Now, I'm gonna send you this video I watched the other day, and I'm gonna send you these people's pages. It's some people that I've been following for a while, and they turn the Lakashik records a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
one of them, they were doing like they were allowing people to come on their lives. And shoot, you might catch me on one of the lives one day because I got questions, and I would
Okay,
encourage
yeah,
you to get
right.
on live too.
Yeah.
But it was literally one girl, and I have to go back and find which one it was. It was one girl that was on, and she was kind of saying the same thing like you. She was like, I've got a tarot business, but I'm also into fashion. And I can't remember exactly what he told her to do, but I know part of it was like, he was like, when you creating reels, do like a model walk, and maybe that's your card of the day or whatever he said.
Yeah.
So it's different ways that you could think about doing it, and you may or may not want to combine the two. You already
Mm-hmm.
have your tarot and spiritual business audience, so it may be a way of crossing them over, or it may be,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then at some point it may be where you start to build a new audience. You can
Mm-hmm.
kind of do both, but I get your point about, do I just brand my name as one, because I am
Mm-hmm.
all of these things. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
compartmentalize myself.
Mm-hmm.
I want to express all of who I am whenever I choose to. So
Mm-hmm.
it's something to definitely tease out more. But I think the starting point would just be like, okay, what are all the things in my field that I'm considering, that I'm interested in? What speaks to me more? What's most exciting? What's least exciting?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good starting point. But
I agree. I
with
like that.
consulting, it's like you have nothing to lose in that. It's just also offering a service in what you already do, and kind of reach out to, not even necessarily reach out, but evaluate, who's around, who's in your community, who might be interested in these things. You might do a poll on your social media like,
Mm-hmm.
how many of y'all are into fashion? How many of y'all are trying to, build your own personal style or build the confidence to wear your own personal style? You definitely could do some confidence coaching, sis.
Mm-hmm. That's
Tell
so cool.
you.
That's dope.
So like, you're so vast and expansive, and I get it. It's hard to see your own self in that way. Like you said,
No, high key. But
you
you're
know,
like showing me like you saying it is like
come on, that's why we here.
yeah, that's so
That's why
dope.
we here. And look, like you say, you help people bring their vision to the physical. That's part of why I started this, because I like to help people see like, no, you're more. There's so much more that you can do. Don't
Mm-hmm.
limit yourself. Even though, as an individual, we might go through those same things, but that's why there's always somebody else to mirror us and be able to
Mm-hmm.
show us like, oh, okay, I'm tripping too.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm sleep on me. I think somewhere in your reading it said, don't let them play with God, and even your own self. Don't let you play with God. God
Mm-hmm.
being you, obviously. Like,
Right, yeah.
forced to be like, how you gonna play me? You gonna act
Type
like
shit.
I'm this big? It was some one day, I don't know what it was. Spirit said to me in my head, my higher self, all of that. I don't know what it was, but she was just like, quit acting like I ain't shit. And
Right.
I just literally laughed out loud because, first of all, you funny for saying that, but you're right.
But you right.
Like I ain't shit. And as
Really
much as
true.
we feel as, I am the shit, I'm confident, I know my skills, it's
Mm-hmm.
still there still be areas where we play small and Spirit be like,
Mm-hmm.
really?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna be
Think
comfortable?
big, bitch. Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm hoping this is helping you to just
It is. I got a lot to like even
get
like
a
do,
vision.
apply, think about. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, yes. So okay, ooh child, get excited, energy behind. I'm like, all right, let me calm down. Just like in the reading, I don't realize until afterwards. Like, whew.
Right. I got it.
Child. Okay, let me go back and make sure I don't overstep. Cause some of this stuff I want to go back to, but I kind of don't. Cause it's like I hear you saying the tarot is cool, but that ain't what I want to do. That's not where my passion is.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm still passionate about it. I just feel like it's more or less like a funnel. I feel like what it is that it takes more from me than um I feel like it gives.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I still enjoy it. I still feel like it's passionate, like I'm passionate about it, but I legit like I just know like just feeling drained is just not. I
Right.
enjoy it. Like I really, really, really do still enjoy it, but I just be so tired. That's why I'm just like I just know that my prices have to go up because
Mm-hmm.
of how much energy it takes. And maybe it's more or less like a lack of belief that there's clientele that'll pay those prices.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know there could be, you know. But I don't feel like I'll completely let it go because I love tarot so much. Like
Right.
I'm obsessed with it. Like, you know, but I'm open to funneling it.
Right.
Um, into other avenues, like funneling things, like kind of like what you're saying, like seeing how you can put your fashion into also like tarot stuff as well. Because tarot takes intentional, like a lot of intentional energy. The
Yeah.
fashion stuff, like it takes energy and stuff, but it's just like I don't know, it just feels like I guess more natural, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And I
I
know, yeah, I was just to say, and I know like I'm probably at the point in my own intuitive energy where I don't even need the cards. If that makes sense, like I could just say stuff and I'm giving them the message. You know, if that makes sense. Yeah,
It
yeah.
does because that was
Hmm.
part of the Reiki or the reading that said, using your voice, even if it's just channeling, like I can just give you
Hmm.
that message because you're tapped in that way. And so that was kind of, I'm glad that you said all that just so we can go back to tarot just a little bit. Outside of raising the prices, like obviously a higher price would give you a better energy exchange. And yes, definitely it's a belief around what clients are out there that will pay for it. They certainly will. And one thing I'll say is, I don't know if you are, but you had said fear and doubt of, is she really trying to build this business, this six-figure business, whatever. I don't know if you already are, but find and follow people who are doing this so that you can see like they're doing it. It's possible. And
Hmm.
of course, that comparison creeps in, but everything ain't for everybody, for one. We are all
Hmm.
our unique spirits. So, and this is something that I've had to do too, because some of the people that I follow that are doing it, I'm like, well, dang, I'm not, like you said, I'm not where I thought I would be. I'll say two things on that in a minute, but just finding and following those people just so you can see and bring that into your field. Like, yeah, it is possible. And
Hmm.
I'm going to set my prices and therefore who it's for. Now, you might be posting and doing whatever, and you might feel like you're not getting traction, but there's a different way of going about that is, okay, am I in the right spaces? Am I offering or speaking to what they might need or what result they're looking for? And it
Hmm.
literally just might be a change of language, a change of how you speak about what you're offering. So
Hmm.
there's that, but I want to ask, oh wait, well, it'll come back to me. Let me think real quick before it all the way slips away.
Right. Yeah, I feel that.
Because I did this earlier. Oh, okay. And I'm glad I wrote it down right here. So the other part I wanted to say about, not where I thought I would be, because I get through that a lot. But the perspective shift of I am where I am for a reason, whether it's, my own lacking beliefs that are limiting me to this point,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
also, okay, what haven't I learned? What am I meant to grow through? And we know what's for us ain't gonna miss us. So
Mhm.
it may be our own mental timeline, physical earth timeline blockage that it's like I was supposed to be doing XYZ and I feel like
Mhm.
I'm not there, but acceptance for one, I'm gonna accept and allow where I am because it took me some time, it took me whatever it took me to do to get here, first of
Mhm.
all. And so, and then who I was, what I did to get here may not be the same thing that gets me there. So
Mhm.
just trusting and allowing the timeline, however it unfolds, and not putting the pressure on ourselves to rush it, to say, oh, I'm supposed to be this by this time, because that's what fucks us up every time. And I'm
Yeah.
speaking to you, speaking to me,
Yeah.
because
You're
I like,
like, no, I don't want to do this shit no more.
like, fuck it. What am I supposed to do? I got other skills. And it's like, well, don't know. First of all, quit acting like I ain't shit. Second of all,
Yeah.
don't leave me behind. Like, don't do me like that. Don't doubt me.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's if you believe, if you trust, if you know, I ain't even gonna say believe. If you know that it's you supposed to do it
Right.
and it's supposed to
Yeah.
happen, then it is.
Mhm.
It's not about
Mhm.
when. It's just about
Yeah.
step by step following and trusting
Mhm.
that process, which can be the
Yeah.
hardest thing. But
Yeah.
that's part of the game. That's part of the lesson we're here to learn. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that perspective shift, and it really takes practice. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that ain't where I want to be, but what are the positive things? What am I grateful for? And
Yeah.
how am I just gonna take that one step, literally one step forward each time?
Mhm.
Because each step
Mhm.
forward, of course, builds that momentum. It's the path. We just gotta follow the
Mhm.
path and keep trusting in that. So I want to ask, as far as besides, like we talked about, besides raising the prices with tarot, because it like you said, it is a lot of energy, and I'm like you, I gotta give it all, I gotta do it all. Like
Mhm.
PDFs, I've been saying like I need to find a different way to do this because it does take so much. I've already done the
Mhm.
reading, then I gotta go back but that's just who I am. I love a PDF,
Yeah.
love a report, I love the
No,
details.
that shit dope. That's dope.
We've got to.
Mhm.
It's just about, okay, well, how do we rework it? How do we reframe it to better fit our energy? So,
Mhm.
besides raising the prices, because we're gonna do that,
Mhm.
and it could even look like having different price points, um,
Mhm.
different offerings at those different price points, and you know that. What would be an ideal setup for your tarot? Because I know you said people always say, having a membership. And first, I want to say, like, is that what you want? Because everything ain't for everybody. Now, obviously,
Right.
there could be a way that you do a membership and do it in a sustainable way for you. Um,
Mhm.
so there's that piece, but at the same time, that might not be for you. So, what do you think would be, or what do you feel would be maybe an ideal setup for you doing tarot?
I can say when I first got into tarot, what my initial vision was, and we can all like the vision can always shift and change, but
Yeah,
when I first got into it, like is it was because I saw tarot read on Instagram and I was like, I can do this. Like, and I joined their live and I just saw how they were interacting with everybody. I would also watch some of their recorded ones and like the recorded ones would hit, but I saw how they would interact on their lives. And I was like, yo, I can do this. And certain people would like send them donations and stuff, like just because, like they're doing like collective readings live. They're not even like asking questions, like connecting to someone's direct personal energy. They're just on live doing collective readings. So I guess an ideal situation for me would be to build a collective of people who love my collective reading so much where they would want to join me live when I'm doing my collective readings and who would also want to pour into me in that manner.
gotcha.
Yeah, that would be more ideal. because that
Okay.
way it also feeds multiple people, versus just one person. Yeah.
Certainly. And so, I know you've tried this. I want to ask, like, what ways have you tried it specifically, and how do you feel like, how did you feel about it? And when I say specifically, like your own formatting, your own platforms, like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Just,
hmm
I know you was
When
on
I,
YouTube because I was on a couple of.
yeah, right. Yeah, when I first started, it was on Facebook, and that was just really fun. But that was just because I had like not a laptop, a phone, Then
Mhm.
eventually I got a laptop, and someone actually donated a web camera to me. And so, for me, these are like Spirit's way. I'm thinking of like,
Right.
Spirit is saying, like, I want you to do this. Like, I want you to go
Right.
down this path type. So when I got the web camera, that's when I made my YouTube. And like I said, I would just post. Like I would post at least every day, post at least every week, and I would just make the post. Like I understand now that thumbnail matters, a good intro matters, like so for me, I'm just like maybe I wasn't doing those things right. Like maybe I didn't have like a good intro. But then I see some people, they don't even show their face. They show a whole ass black ass screen, you know?
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't know. Like, I was like, what the heck? Like, I don't want to say I don't know, but I just haven't like cracked the code just yet.
Yeah.
On like how to like build that sustainable following. I've been trying to figure out what platform works for me. So far TikTok. I mean, I want YouTube, but YouTube, I know all of them have a science,
Yeah.
but I would prefer YouTube, just because I see that with everyone. But TikTok, I've been focusing on growing that as of now because it just reaches more people. Like, I don't know, people are more kind over there on TikTok, which I was like, dang, I wish I kind of came over here a long time ago. Like,
Right.
I
Same.
was like one of those people, like, why y'all on TikTok? I was like shit talking to people who was a TikToker. Like, but now they kind. Like,
Yeah.
that's how open minded.
Right.
I
I
had saw
definitely
this.
know what you're
I saw this video and they was just like talking about like you being in different platforms and like how it was like, and that was just so funny. She was over there on Instagram. Instagram people were like, "Who is this girl? What the fuck?"
saying.
And she pretty much said the same joke to each platform. They all had different reactions, and then when she got to TikTok, they was all like laughing and asking
Right.
for
Right.
more. And yeah, it was funny.
That, but it be like that because it's
Yeah.
literally different audiences. I saw somebody's post. They was like, "Yeah, Facebook people need to stay off of TikTok because they don't get it."
Mm-mm. I'm
And it
starting to
makes
think Facebook is for old people,
sense.
like the older people.
Right. Where would you say your most consistent engagement is?
So as of recently, TikTok, and when I was posting on Facebook, I stopped when I got my surgery. But when I was posting on Facebook, as far as like my actual tarot page, I have a Taste of Divinity tarot page. I
Mhm.
found the strategy to help build that page. So I grew in like engagement and likes and stuff within that past 1 to 2 months, because of that strategy. And what I would do, I would post collective readings for either elements or zodiac every week, once a week, and I would share it to different groups, so like different zodiac groups. I would share it to different astrology groups, different zodiac groups. If there was a Capricorn based group, I would join a group, and then I would share a Capricorn post like I was a Capricorn type shit, or Aquarius post like I was a Aquarius, and they would most of the likes would stay in the group, but a few would funnel to the actual page, and
Mhm.
they would like it. And I put the comment yes below if you want to claim it type shit because I see that with other
Right.
people, helping them comment will get their engagement up as well. And if they say yes or whatever, then I would respond to their comment and tell them to like the page if they want to see more. That was actually really fun. I really, really enjoyed doing that. I started to see the engagement, but And I don't mind doing that again. It's more or less like I just started to go through surgery and started to go through things that,
Mhm.
that's not technically creating income. It's building a following, it's building a
Yeah,
brand, type of thing. So
yeah,
I have to start prioritizing things that would actually build me an income.
right,
So
right.
then I started going to TikTok when I was on my second month of healing. I would go live on TikTok every day um, for about 2 hours, and I would go live and I would do one collective reading, and then I would be open to people who wanted to book a reading afterwards or get a live reading afterwards. Now, TikTok is completely new to me. So I've probably done like maybe one or two readings, but they were actually returning clients, like people who already knew me from
Yeah.
different platforms. Yeah, but that's a completely new platform that I'm still learning and building. Um, but I did join a talent agency through TikTok, and they're teaching me how to grow TikTok and how to use TikTok. And they give us these requirements of going live 7 days out of the week or 7 days out of the month for at least an hour. So every month we have to at least go live for an hour, um, 7 times.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I'm glad you
and I
said
get I get engagement.
good. I'm happy you said that because that's what I was thinking. Like, I'm new to TikTok too. I probably posted a few things on there, but even being on the platform, like looking at what's there, somehow or another, my algorithm got to people who be on tarot doing live. So I also watch like, okay, how are the people engaging? What's their setup? What are they doing? And it does seem like, once you get that following that engagement, like it seems like easy lifting. I ain't gonna speak to it because I'm not
Hmm.
doing it, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do
It
what
seems
you
like you
do
gotta right.
naturally.
Yeah, it
You
seems like
just
you gotta
gotta
put in the
build that
groundwork.
engagement. And then of course they can do those donations and all of
Hmm.
that. So I think I would say if this can be confirmation, I think you're moving in a good direction with that. Um and just even that and with the tarot page and the Facebook tarot page. And like you said, ideally just being able to do the bigger collective thing and letting people feed back to you from that. I think if that's what you feel like is the ideal situation, then consider, okay, well, what would it look like for me to do this consistently? Now, sure, people be like, you need to go live 7 days a week, you need to be live every day, you need to do all of this. That may work for some folks, that may be a formula, but you start with what's sustainable for you. Because
Hmm.
again, you don't want to burn out, you don't want to be
Right.
giving all this energy back, and now I'm drained, and now I'm like, fuck it
Hmm.
for a week because I'm tired and nobody's pouring back.
Hmm.
So, just trusting that process and starting with whatever feels sustainable for you. You might say, okay, I'm gonna do it once a week, but then you might have extra energy and be like, surprise, I'm here again.
Okay. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, so definitely that. Now we're gonna kind of bounce a little bit back and forth, a little bit, because I want to make sure we're covering. It's gonna come back together. Let me just say it like
Yeah,
that.
no, yeah, I feel you. I feel you 5,000%. And it's so crazy because, I was telling my friend that I've been contemplating just letting go of tarot altogether. And like literally, as far as like the last couple of months, I've been getting collaborations with my tarot gifts. So I
Right.
feel like that's why I feel like I'm not supposed to let it go completely. Feel
Yeah.
like don't fucking give up on this shit right when you're like about to get that breakthrough. But you can still use it as a funnel and, still feed into your other passions and find a way to do it in a sustainable manner,
Right.
but don't give up on it altogether.
Right. And I think too with those collaborations and events, you it's expanding your audience. So
Hmm.
you may get people you wouldn't expect to get. You may be, anything can happen, right?
Hmm.
And it's not so much heavy lifting on your part. It's almost like, okay, you want to collab? Oh, you're having this event. I'll show up and I'm going to just allow the folks to be attracted to me. And
Mhm.
that might be a more enjoyable and sustainable
Mhm.
way for you to engage with it. And,
That's
you
true.
know, still draw that following, still draw those
Mhm.
points.
And that
Um,
might even be more sustainable than trying to build the social media following based around it.
right.
We'll
Because
see.
I was reading something the other day about like not trying to build business around social media. For one, because
Mhm.
social media is draining. Um,
Mhm.
and sure you'll get some clients, but like they say, likes and follows don't equal conversions. There's don't
Mhm.
clients or money or followers. Um,
Mhm.
one thing I was listening to one day, and it was just like, and I don't know if you've done this or not, but going to like public places, if you're
Mhm.
interested, we said might be distracted in a public place, but just even businesses or business owners that
Mhm.
you frequent or that you're connected to, or even like little cute cafes and coffee shops, people,
Mhm.
small businesses, see if you can partner with them. Like, hey, can we do a collaboration like one day this
Mhm.
and kind of see how it goes for us? Or hey, can I come set up and offer
Yeah,
this?
that'll be dope.
Just just like you said, putting yourself out there. And I'm speaking to you, speaking to me, but putting
Right.
out there and seeing what comes back to you. It's
Yeah,
like,
I'll probably be scared, but I think that's a really good idea.
right. I mean, like they say about people who dating, you can't expect to find a man if you in the house. He not gonna come
Type
knock on the
shit.
door.
Type shit. Yeah.
So it's like we can't keep hiding the light under a bushel. We can't keep
Mhm.
getting around the corner. Again, what got us here ain't necessarily gonna be the same thing that gets us to that next level.
Mhm.
Like you said, I'm becoming somebody I've never been. And so we got to start considering, and that's what we'll get into in a minute. We got to start
Mhm.
considering, well, who do I need to be? So we'll talk about that
Mhm.
in 1 second. But before we go there, I do want to talk a little bit more about the fashion piece
Okay.
and flipping my little notepad pages. Um, so we talked about kind of like fashion consulting. What's your vibe? You've got the story behind it. And I say having that story behind it will definitely help to fuel it and make it just be so like flow so naturally. Like,
Mhm.
this is why I'm doing this. And speaking that truth, going back to that Reiki you're reading, whichever one it was, speaking that truth and expressing that, you're gonna find people that resonate with you. You're gonna find
Mhm.
people that mirror you and wonder, okay, well, shoot, she did it, she's doing it. Well, how can I do it too? So there's that, but what exactly, and I'm not gonna say exactly what all that you can think of right now, you might have to explore it
Mhm.
more. Like, what in fashion are you interested in doing?
Right. So I won't say like, and it's like crazy because last year I did my first fashion show. I was invited. I don't know if you've seen the comments, but I'm a projector. And so that's pretty much someone who waits for an invitation. And I'm
Yeah,
just like, it's so interesting because, yeah, just thinking about the certain things that was happening last year. But I was invited to do that. As much as I enjoyed it, which honestly, if I wasn't insecure about my walk, I probably would do more of those.
yeah.
But ideally, I see myself in a styling sense, like wanting to style different things, styling myself for one. Um, I want to eventually learn how to sew. Like I still actually have that whole bag full of designs that you gave me.
Oh,
Like
right.
yes, girl, yes, because I was like, because I know like
Period.
sometimes I took that with me to take this because I'm like, yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna be using it, but I know I'm gonna be using it. So
Yeah.
eventually, I would want to learn how to actually make my own clothes, but I kind of want to just get into like the modeling aspect. Like for me, I'm Scorpio, very sensual, so lingerie modeling and stuff like that. Like I want to maybe potentially. Because that right there helps me build up my confidence around myself, my body. I was always kind of sexualized as a child, which taught me to like um, not feel comfortable in my skin. and also just like made me feel guilty for wanting to feel sexy, like, and so I've been kind of working with beliefs around that because it's just like just because I show my shoulders doesn't mean I'm gonna have sex with everybody, like, like, so it's almost like a way of just like trying to take my power back and even like redefining the beliefs for women, like just because we feel confident in our body or we are feeling sexy doesn't mean that we deserve to be objectified. I can see myself naturally going down that path of just like, maybe purchasing different lingeries and having, someone take pictures and maybe posting an Instagram page to where I can start uh, maybe branding with like Fenty. She's a black
Right.
lingerie person, so I could just get some of her outfits to maybe eventually get a partnership with her. And then maybe if there's other black owned lingerie people or whatever, I could partner with them as well. Just like, because I would like to feed into bigger purposes as well with it. I don't
Right.
want it to just be me doing something I enjoy. I want it to be like a branch of things, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
hmm But I also see myself eventually growing into styling people too. But I'm okay with steps.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to a couple things. Like you said, you took the bag of patterns with you. Like, I don't know when, but I know I'm gonna use it because I know this is who I am to be. Just like with the tarot business, I might not be where I thought I should be, but I know I'm supposed to do this. So I don't know when,
Yeah.
but I know it is. So I'm gonna just do what is in my wheelhouse to do right now, and trust the process. Just connecting
Yeah.
those dots. Um, it's so funny that you said lingerie modeling and building confidence and all of that because so me personally, I see myself as a sensual person. Well, I always kind of have.
hmm
Of course, self-esteem, confidence, they kind of change in different areas, but and how I got into modeling, that was something I always knew I wanted to do. But I wanted to do print. I wanted to be in pictures.
hmm
But I did my first fashion show. And, ever since I was kind of doing them. Of course, the past couple years I haven't because for whatever reasons. But
hmm
in that, I started, AWOL.
Yes, I do.
I went to one AWOL and it wasn't really a lingerie show, but I don't know if it was like one of the presenters was in lingerie or maybe like not ushers, but I don't know, somehow or another.
Mhm.
That's how I got involved in AWOL. And I like to say I'm a shy person, but when it's something that I want to do and I know I want to do it, somehow I'm gonna be like, all right, this is what it
The
is.
Leo energy be coming out.
I gotta do it. Yeah,
Take a
you sure
sign
right.
in.
So I reached out and I was like, let me coordinate the lingerie segment.
hmm
So for a couple of them, probably like 3, 4, or 5 of them, I was
Yeah.
coordinating a lingerie segment, and
Yeah,
I
that's
would
cute.
find local black-owned lingerie vendors
hmm
because I was already modeling with people. I knew
hmm
some models, of course. I was in school, so I was recruiting some of those folks. Some of my friends, like, hey, come do this show for me. Come do this show with me.
hmm
And I like to say I just be doing shit because it was never nothing that I was expecting to do. It just kind of came.
Right.
So
That's kind of
it wasn't,
dope. Yeah.
it wasn't like this whole thing I had planned out. I would find the vendor, whatever pieces that they had, we would get. Sometimes we had a thing like I remember one thing we had. It was like dessert or something like that, like ice cream sundae. I don't know, something like that. So we had like the different colors, like each person would have something that represented whatever would go on a sundae. That's what it was. We were building a
Oh,
sundae.
yeah.
So, and it just kind of developed naturally, like things do when you follow spirit. Um, and so, but I knew from there, and like you said, with sewing is I can sew a little bit. I know that's something I'm supposed to do. I still got my sewing machine, my serger, all of that. I
hmm
started doing what you call it, designs for a lingerie line. I started making some now. That was at some point. So I've not done it. I've not been doing, but I know the bigger picture. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do a lingerie show. I'm gonna have a lingerie line. So wherever
Yeah.
it starts, it starts. So I just find that interesting that we're
That's
having.
the cool one. Now, high key, I'll be one of the models. Look.
No, I'm reaching out definitely.
Yeah, look.
And it's like, okay, Spirit, are you prompting us to go ahead and
No, look,
get
period.
right?
Look.
Noted. I hear you.
Period.
So
Period. And
even,
will.
even if it's like you say, being a projector, and I did talk a little bit about human design in there,
Hmm.
waiting for that invitation. But even beyond that, like just paying attention, observing the scene, like, okay, who's doing the fashion shows? What kind of segments do they have? Who are the lingerie vendors around here? Do they need models?
Hmm.
Can I partner with them? Can I try something out? Even if it's like, okay, well, like
Yeah.
brand ambassador, like, hey, I really
Hmm.
like this piece. Can I do this? And I'm gonna do a photo shoot that'll help you with your page, and
Hmm.
I'll tag him. Is there a discount code we can do? Just things like that. Look for
Hmm.
partnerships and wherever wherever they might be. It's just something to consider.
Hmm.
Um, Locally, of course, and then you
Yeah.
build that following.
Hmm. I most definitely go to central events, so I could totally do that. There's so
Yeah.
much here in Texas, so
So I've
so much
heard.
here. There's so
Like
much, girl.
possibilities endless,
No, high key.
which makes
So much
sense.
to explore.
It makes sense for you to be there because it's like you're
Hmm.
in a position where I am evolving. I am kind of transitioning from what I thought was gonna be or what I thought was supposed to be. And now I'm in a place where there's all these different avenues that I can pursue. I can try it out. I can see what actually feeds me and move in
Hmm.
that direction.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so mm, this is good. This is good. So I think kind of where we go. Okay, before we go to item three. So in this vision, or yeah, in this vision that you have, I'll say it in a couple of different ways. Your highest version of you that you can imagine, that you can feel, and that is there. The highest version that you see the fashion in, that you see the tarot in. Like, let's talk about that person. Who is she? Could you describe her? Like, who is that girl that's doing all these things?
Mm. In what ways? Hmm. I feel like I might like have trouble actually seeing her, honestly.
Mhm. Okay. And there may just be, room for meditations and visualizations around that.
Hmm.
I mean, if I was to ask it in a different way, and it might be the same result, no worries. Um, if I was to say for you to achieve these goals or to get to, and I'm not saying achieving the whole bigger goal, certainly you can look at it that way, but even if you're
Hmm.
looking at, okay, the next version, who was that? Who do you need to be to reach that next step? Who do you need to be to reach that goal? You already said I need to be courageous.
Yeah, I was have to say it's ultimately like someone who's just kind of confident, like
Mhm.
um, who just unapologetically like believes in themselves, um, and confident in like their unique way of doing things. Someone who obviously validates themselves. Um, when it comes to them putting themselves, because ultimately like I'm going to have to put myself out there, and I do feel like I have unique ways of doing everything.
Yeah.
Everything is so very like unique that it might be something people haven't seen before,
Hmm.
and so I have to like suspect like in the beginning that people might just view and watch before they actually start interacting. And then they're like, oh, like, no, she's really doing this shit, like, oh, she's really being confident. Oh, she's still doing this shit. Like, okay, period. Like, and then they might start like engaging more in it. So it's like I have to really have that self belief in myself enough to kind of like what you're saying, like it's not about when it is, type shit. Like I am oracle reader, intuitive reader, tarot reader. I am, like this fashion consultant or whatever, like and that, I'm a stylist or a model and da 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 da, so
Right. I
yeah.
am who I say I am.
I am
And
who I say I am.
and that was part of, and I'm gonna keep saying Reiki or reading because I did them back to back. So, and
Right.
they were pretty much kind of like they were
I
piggybacking off.
wanted it to be that way too. Yeah.
It did say like, I ain't gonna quote it because I don't remember exactly, but something along the lines of, you gotta just be who you are. And like you say, you might suspect that people will kind of do and watch and question before they engage until they feel sure. That's just because, again, you do have a unique way of doing things. You are a unique light. And because you show up authentically as yourself, even if it's hard, even when it's hard, people won't all the way receive that. It's triggering them because it's triggering that light within them that they're uncomfortable with, that they're uncomfortable with being and shining. And so, that's part of your purpose to shine and show, okay, Tasty shines.
Yes.
Part of that purpose to shine and, help people to reflect their true self from you.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it might be hard. It's hard to build that confidence, but as we're in a moment of pioneering these things.
Yes. Pioneering that part.
Pioneering, like divine creative spark is what your reading said you are. That's you. Divine being the highest divinity, creative being a creator, spark being the ignition, not only for you, but for change and other people's divinity. Because we're trying to, of course, raise the divine consciousness in the world, right? So it's gonna take the light beings, the light folks to show up as our true selves. We're like nobody taught us how to do this. Most of the people before us aren't their true selves. They hide, they fit into molds. So no, it is gonna be hard because we weren't really given that room. We weren't, people don't know what, people can't give you what they don't have. So here we are learning it for ourselves, giving it to ourselves. And again, I'm hearing we quit acting like we, because we are like acting like, so yeah, you right, you so right. Just you are, and of course it's just working with those beliefs literally day by day, because you feel different each day, moment by moment you feel different. So one of the things you can kind of practice doing is, evaluating and observing, okay, how am I feeling in this moment? Am I feeling like the confident I am that I am? And when I am feeling that way, well, let me evaluate why. Let me pinpoint, okay, what's making me feel that way? It may just be your very own energy. But then when you're not feeling that way, also observe that too. Okay, well, why don't I feel that way? And then from like literally naming it, you can be like, well, ego, I hear you saying this about me, or this is why this is why that. I hear that, but let me do you one better, and then respond back with that divine higher self creative spark. Like, I hear you, but I raise you this. Kind of like, that kind of, I don't want to call it battle, but the two mind, the polarity of ego and spirit, like and what we're conditioned to be and conditioned to learn and all that. That's one identity that we're working to shed. And I'm gonna recommend this book to you that I'm almost done. I want to do a book club on it for real, and I'll probably finish it. Do a book club, but it talks about the mind being, it's called The Power of Now. I'm gonna send it to you in your write-up. But it talks about our mind being the ego, being our false identity, when of course our true identity is spirit. So it's, and the mind, the ego is gonna do everything that it can, not die. Like this is your
Right.
identity, but it's really not. That spirit identity is truly you. So it's like, what,
Mhm.
I can't think of who exactly right now, but a couple of artists, which is like they have their little alias or whatever. A couple of artists will be like,
Mhm.
let's say Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. I don't know why
Mhm.
it's in my mind, but it's like, okay, the ego me is maybe Beyonce. The spirit in me is Sasha Fierce. And it's like, okay, Beyonce, I hear you saying this to me, but as Sasha Fierce, what I'm gonna tell you is
Mhm.
quit acting like I ain't shit. I'm
Mhm.
gonna just keep going back to that for reference.
Yeah,
So
right. I like that. Period.
just when we're thinking about, okay, well, who do I need to be? Who is that person? And as when you do feel those fears and when you do feel those doubts, it's like, okay, I'm me right now in this ego and this identity that I'm trying to shed. But if I was my higher self in this, how would she handle that situation? And then
Mhm.
start doing those solutions. And of course, it takes practice to build, but
Mhm.
little by little, start doing what she would do. Like we said, what would Jesus do? What would
Right.
my spirit
Oh,
do?
how you feel, dude? Like, hey, yeah.
So yeah, I just want to say that on that. So now we're moving. So I'll kind of explain to you what we did first, kind of evaluating why we're here, what's the vision. In my process, I call that returning to self because you always got to go back to you. It's
Mhm.
always
I like
something
that.
within you because we can't change, we can't control nothing but ourselves.
Mhm.
And if nobody else is going to care for us, we have to. If not us, then who? So always return to self
Mhm.
first. The last thing that we were just doing, the whole piece that we're going to was I call it change your mind, change your life. It's a perspective shift. So we're evaluating, okay, what are my limiting beliefs? And how do I shift those perspectives? Like who
Mhm.
do I need to be? How can I see differently what's going on, see differently who I am?
Mhm.
So now we're getting into the okay, well, that was change your mind. Now we're getting into the change your life, which is the create your reality part, which is where we kind of make it real practical. What are our next steps?
Mhm.
So um the whole purpose we're talking about building sustainable income. We're talking about having the courage to embrace purpose, trusting when to track, when to do. And the main things that we derive from this is really shifting the tarot business into something that feels more exciting, more sustainable for you, and also pursuing this fashion,
Mhm.
the fashion vision, because that's who you are, that's part of your next step. We also talked about consulting and expanding our mind and vision of self as a CEO that has all of these businesses or that
Mhm.
has all of these skills that we're offering and talents that we're showcasing. And so with that, those are the couple of options that we have. The next part, like I said, we want to just kind of make some real practical steps. Like we've talked
Mhm.
about our options. What do you feel like, um, and all of these things considering, what do you feel like your next best step is kind of moving forward?
So, um, well, I wanna, I guess, as far as like the tarot, making it exciting and sustainable, I do have these three events coming up. So I've done it once before, just once. So, with these other three, like I want to see how it'll go because if that is something exciting and sustainable, one of them is called Spiritual Hoochies, which I don't know if you've like seen posts and stuff like that, but that's actually a collaboration that I'm doing with a group of ladies, and
Okay.
she wants me to do like these collective readings for zodiac signs every single month. So that's kind of why I stopped doing it for my own personal brand because this
Right.
person's paying me, to do what I would have done, what I was doing for free,
Okay.
for her brand. And then sometimes like she would have these different events. So we're doing an event now for the spring equinox, and I'll do a pick a card in that one. And I also set intentions because kind of like what you were saying, like your voice is very powerful. Like my voice is powerful. So I'm usually the intention setter with the events that we do. And then there's this new market that I'm doing in April. Their they're a brand they do wellness, holistic events for 30 years. They've been doing it for 30 years, so they're very established. This will be my first time connecting with them, hearing about them, et cetera, et cetera. But if it's something that's good, she was pretty much telling me like once you're in, you're kind of in. So like you decide if you want to come to the next event and da 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 da, like because people have to kind of like get approved for it.
Mm-hmm.
So she really liked my reading, like she was like, I can tell you know what you're doing. I gave her like a little 5 7 minute thingy. So if I actually like those, that could be like a direction that I head into,
Mm-hmm.
like just using other people brands and them purchasing my service, if that makes sense,
Right.
versus using social media to build that brand. And
Right.
if that's the case, I'm more than likely may I'll probably keep the tarot pages up because maybe it's something later down the road when I actually do have my sustainable income. I could go back to building those pages, but right now it just requires too much energy,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to do it. As far as like building up the social media, I don't want to do it yet. I can use my social media page to build my fashion though. That's a practical thing. So I'm trying to see if I want to keep like I feel like Tasty Shines might be my parent business or my parent company.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could do business as like different things. But that's something I do want to meditate on. But as far as practical steps for the lingerie thing, I could either like go ahead and start looking for just thinking about the Instagram page. Yeah, we'll start there. Like, and I kind of already have a photographer that I reached out to who also wants to do more Bodor, I can't pronounce it, type of shoots. So whenever I actually finish healing, I want to, collaborate with them more. But I guess building up my lingerie attire as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be a practical thing. That's all.
Okay, cool, cool. Um, and so I got those as immediate next steps. I I think what I will do, because what I'm already thinking, even like you said, not necessarily trying to keep building the social media pages for tarot right now, especially when I'm going to try out these events, see how I like them, and that it seems like a good avenue, business to business work as opposed to business
Hmm.
to consumer. Obviously, like yeah, you'll still be serving consumers, but I'm partnering with these businesses to reach that bigger audience, doing it to them.
Hmm.
So I think
And
that
I
would
could
definitely.
legit funnel into their, yeah, yeah,
And
literally
then
funneling into their audience.
I think with the tarot social media pages, like you wouldn't necessarily have to take them down. You wouldn't necessarily have to focus on building an audience there, but just working in shifting it to whatever works for you now. So it's like, okay, I'm doing these events. You want a reading? Come see me here.
Oh,
Maybe once a
okay.
month or
Hmm.
whatever you find might be sustainable or that you want to do. Like
Yeah,
I'm opening my books for this amount of time, or when I'm
yeah.
ready, I'll show up. Or maybe once a month, I want to do a collective or post of whatever I want to go live.
Hmm.
You just make
Hmm.
it work for you because that's not necessarily your focus. And set up some automations that way it's still kind of functioning, but it's not taking
Hmm.
up all your time and energy.
Hmm.
So I will when I do the write up, I will kind of do some framing around that. Just of course, you would review and see what resonates and tweak it how you feel. But um,
Hmm.
in doing that, and hold on, child, let me write before I forget. Because, like you said, eventually shifting that into like a high ticket item, which is perfect, which is great. What I'm seeing it is as like a special feature like on the DVDs they used to have
Hmm.
special features like
Yeah.
kind of somewhat exclusive, but it's like you catch it
Hmm.
when you can, and when
Hmm.
you catch it. If you don't catch it, it's not for you at that time.
Yeah.
you
That
know,
part. Yeah.
just kind of reframing it. So I will, like I said, I will do some strategy and lay that out, some different frameworks. And of course, I'll send you that, but you can definitely throw it in Chat GPT and say, well, hey,
Mhm.
I got these few ideas, expand this for me and
Mhm.
let me know what are the other options. I think that would definitely be good.
Mhm.
Um, and then even with the fashion, like you said, okay, next steps, just starting to build that page. So I think definitely doing some meditation and visualization around it, but just considering, okay, what pages I have now, do I want to, I think you
Convert.
said these shine pages. So do I want to merge
Mhm.
them? Do I want to start posting a little bit here and there? Like with me, I've got my main Instagram, which is just has been my personal Instagram. But then I've also got the
Mhm.
Max's House Instagram, and sometimes I just, do invite as a collaborator. So the post shows up on
Mhm.
both pages.
Mhm.
That from time to time, like, okay, special feature, here we go. But I'll lay out some options around that too, because I definitely feel like um hold on. I can't do both. It definitely, I see you, like, I can literally see you in my head doing these different fashion videos. So it may be where it may be another page that you sometimes
Mhm. I
tag
feel
and
like you
collect,
mentioned.
but I definitely see all types of fashion videos, like, where do I source my things? Or again, what's your vibe? Doing those polls or doing like maybe a monthly event around fashion, whether it's like in person or not, or just online, some kind of some kind of engagement that you have regularly with your followers. But I think it might be a separate page that you start building for sure,
Mhm.
because you can feel like you have that freedom to express the different fashion pieces or uh lanes just there on that page without having to worry about, okay, this don't necessarily match my last content. They're gonna feel
Yeah.
like I'm
Type.
all over the place, this and that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think there's room for that. And I will do some framing around that too. And I will send that all to you. Um, so again, with immediate next steps, I'm gonna mark some for my own. I'll definitely say meditate and visualize a couple of things. One being highest self or next best version, however you want to look at it.
Mhm.
Um, just the next iteration. What is the evolution of my business is right now?
Mhm.
Um, break that down. And then, so we've got that, and then specifically with the tarot, do the events, see how you feel, then come back and reevaluate. And I definitely feel like that might be an avenue for you, though.
Mhm. And
It's
it's
just,
already monetized, so it's like even if it's like that's why like I don't want to get rid of it altogether
yeah,
because it's there. I just know maybe like in 10, 15, 20 years, like I wouldn't want it to be like, oh, she's known as the tarot reader type of thing. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And it
Mm-mm.
makes perfect sense, like how we just talked about the brand. Like I am the brand, so
Mhm.
don't box me into just this one thing because
Mhm.
I'm this, I'm that. So I think now is a good time because you are in that transition period to start building those avenues. And
Mhm.
and I'm speaking to you, speaking to me, because we're in this kind of ripe phase of seeing, okay, well, what do I like to do? What can I do? Like we got to see it as, granted, we are trying to be entrepreneurs and we're trying to build sustainable incomes with this. And that's good, that's great. But when we are focused on that piece of it, it does help to create that lack, that fear of failure because it's putting so much pressure on it, which
Mm-hmm.
is somewhat why I get why they say, don't monetize your hobbies because,
Type. Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, period.
it's ways to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we want to build that, but we know this is what we're supposed to do. We know we're supposed to build these avenues. So again,
Mm-hmm.
it may not happen overnight. It could. We may fall
Mm-hmm.
into that timeline. But
Yeah. Because the
you know,
fashion thing may not be like monetized right away. That's just to bring passion back in my life and excitement
yeah,
back in my life. But the tarot is already monetized and it could be grown with like the right strategies and et
right.
cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we're at that right phase to just build these avenues, open these roads, open these paths, and start, pouring a little bit into it and seeing what
Right.
comes of it.
That's so exciting.
It is. And that's really how we have to kind of, yeah, it can get overwhelming. Yeah, we could get the fear and the doubts, but we do have to remember the excitement, remember the joy behind it. Like,
I'm
and
so
that's something I have
excited.
to too. Right. Like you gotta make it fun. Make it fun again.
Yes.
Make it fun again. And that's something that I have to work on too, because being what Capricorn moon, like, no, it needs to be in order. I need structure. I need to do it
Mm-hmm.
X, Y, and Z. But make it fun again.
Yes, make it fun again. I like that.
Yeah, with the tarot, doing the events, seeing how you feel with the fashion, starting slash building slash reframing the page. But of course, it's gonna start with that meditation, that
Yes.
visualization, so you could kind of feel around, like, okay, well, what do I want this to be? And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to, of course, like we know visions change, so it doesn't have to stick to that per se. But what are my options?
Mm-hmm.
I have freedom to choose, and so what do I want to play with? I'm gonna send you another video too about.
Okay, dope. Yeah.
Let me write this in a way that makes sense so I know when I'm gonna go back. Like, what was I talking about? There we go.
Right.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, I will summarize all of what we talked about. Um, I will kind of do some strategy and framing around these business ideas, even like with the CEO parent company type. I will just lay out some ideas just so you can, have something to reference.
Mm-hmm.
And then give me like 24 hours or so to get that to
Yeah,
you.
take your time, girl. Take your time. This is a lot. I mean, I have so many notes. I have so much to meditate on myself. So,
Yes, ma'am. Look, these are my little note pages, my notepads.
right, girl, I'm just so
um,
grateful. This was amazing. This was amazing.
and this definitely it's gonna come with I'll kind of draft somewhat of an accountability plan, but I think the plan
Mm.
is gonna be, like I said, what are the immediate next steps? So I'll probably lay out a few more next steps just to kind of help you. And of course, I can't dictate what your next steps are. These
Yeah.
are
Uh-huh.
just options. So I'll lay that
Yeah.
out. And then, of course, we'll have at least 7 days of accountability partnership. So
Yeah.
once I send it to you, it won't start to, like, obviously I can check back in, like, hey, what did you do? Because we want to start right away. We want to start building that momentum.
Yeah.
Granted, we have to move with how our spirit feels. We have to move with our own energy. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a given. But from when I send it to you, that's kind of when I'll start the 7 days. Like,
Yeah.
here's our game plan. And I might even give you another day to say, okay, hey, meditate on this and then come back to me. And then from this
Mm-hmm.
date, let's agree that this is our plan. And then we'll
Mm-hmm.
start our accountability partnership from there and really just move.
This is dope. I love it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have
This is
any more
beautiful.
questions,
I
concerns,
got one
anything?
question, and
Mhm,
it's kind of like honestly unrelated to like me per se.
mhm,
So I mean, like I'm related to like the what we're doing with the branding and stuff. Okay, so I'm a receptive person. Like my spirit is receptive to things.
mhm,
Do you find so like like I feel like it all flows so naturally with you. Like this was a really good session for me. Do you
mhm.
feel like when you work with people who aren't like initially as receptive, that like you kind of feel that energetically, like it's like kind of have to like work a little bit harder to like, I guess, speak, if that makes sense, or craft, like,
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, because um people are so
on the
different.
energetic level, you like, why isn't it like flowing as much? Because it's like energetically they're not as
Yeah,
receptive.
they're kind of like closing the channel. So it's definitely an exchange. Like, sure, I can give you all that I can give you, but if you're not being receptive to it, I'm kind of like talking to a wall. And maybe you don't get it right then, and that's okay. I give you that space, I give you that grace because we are where we are on our path. But
Hmm.
it definitely feels like I'm trying to squeeze juice out of potato here. And that's what I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I want to do this because like I really
Hmm.
want you to get it, but it takes
Tight.
a little more time. Like I did have one client and we did a longer partnership with it, but
Hmm.
and granted, I would take some accountability because it was like my first time doing it like that.
Hmm.
Um, so I would take some accountability in putting a little bit more. Let me be transparent. It was my sister. So
Hmm.
putting it a little bit more like not bound yes, boundaries, but also like structure. And it was structured because this is you see how I do it. This is
Yes,
me.
you.
Do
Hmm.
but giving her that leeway because she is my sister. Whereas if this was
Hmm.
another client, yes, I would give some leeway because I understand people got kids, life happens. So I get that.
Hmm.
But at the same time, you need to show up for you like I'm showing up for you.
Hmm.
What are we doing here? So if you're not really
Hmm.
ready, then you're just not ready. And that's the same
Yeah.
thing with like setting prices and finding clients. Like it's for the people it's for. Yeah, we want to be able to initially we want to be able to serve everybody and because we know
Hmm.
that people need the help. But like they say, you can't help nobody if they don't want to be helped. If they're not ready, they're not
Yeah.
ready. And so
Yeah.
we focus on attracting and marketing to clients who are ready. And that's what I say. It may just be different about how you speak about it, how you speak about what you're offering. Because, like they say, speak to the pain points. What solution are you offering them? And so, let me write that down. I will send some stuff on that too. Yeah, but to reiterate and answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
It's
I can experience the same. Like, yeah.
be like, dang. But that's why it's for who's for. I just
Hmm.
got saying that because when you see it, like, and having different clients and seeing the different energy levels, seeing where they are on their journeys,
Hmm.
on their paths, it makes a big difference.
And that's when it comes into like, what's your ideal client?
There you
Like,
go.
because even with my readings, I've learned, because I only had one really bad experience with the client. Like, she kind of got mad at what came up in her reading. And so I was just like, yeah, that's kind of why I kind of shifting to like the reader for leaders, because leaders like to take accountability. I'm not like a reader for anybody. I'm a reader for people who are able to self-reflect, and who's willing to be like a leader, who's willing to grow, and et cetera, and et cetera. Because
Right.
you're not about to curse me out because I'm just being a vessel. Like,
Okay, this on you, sis.
this is what they said. I'm just reading the cards.
Okay. Do not shoot the messenger.
You feel me? But thank you so much, love. I'm definitely gonna meditate on all of this literally right now. This was beautiful. Like,
Glad.
I
I'm glad.
feel like I have better direction. I feel like it most definitely kind of like put things into practical things for me, because I'm very like, I feel like ultimately I was just talking in circles, and you're kind of just like, okay, boom, I grab this, boom, I grab this, boom, I grab this, this is what it is type. And I'm just like, it's so phenomenal. It's very
I'm
phenomenal.
glad.
Yes, this is amazing. I'm so, so grateful.
And so just to close that out to that point, like you say, I have my own unique way of doing things. And those things, as they say, are superpowers. I thought somebody's post had said, and she was a reader as well. Her post said it was a card that she pulled, and it had said something about, there's no magic trick to make it work. You are your own wild card. And I was like, ooh, you're so right. Like, you are your own superpower in this. So we might do the same things, but our own unique essence, our own particular skills is what makes it different. So even in collaborations, even individually, that's why it's important to show up authentically, even though you feel like, okay, that comparison, like, well, I ain't doing what they doing, or like sometimes I get imposter syndrome about reading from the books, but I'm like, I'm a reader. I like to read, and so yeah, I'm gonna read you from this book too,
but you get your intuitive message
I'm
from
gonna bring my intuitive messages and the practicality. I'm gonna connect those dots. So we just gotta lean into our own unique superpowers.
I agree.
Period.
Thank you so much, love.
Yes, ma'am. Love you. See you soon. I will send you your report as soon as possible.
Okay. I love you too. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night. Bye.